This is a warning to all Tesla stock investors. The hope of some Tesla stock bulls was that Elon Musk is just going to do some temporary work at the government. For example, special government employees, which is what Elon Musk is, they are limited to working for the government for no more than 130 days out of a 365-day period. So the hope or the assumption was that Elon already helped get the president elected and he's gonna just clean up the government a little bit and then he will just move on. And these 130 days are not quite up yet, but we're gonna come to the end of these 130 days very soon now. But there is a way for him to actually work multiple years in a row. It's just each year you cannot do more than 130 days of work. But with Elon actively participating in this Wisconsin Supreme Court election, I am becoming more and more convinced that Elon Musk will stay in politics for a while. I think likely he will be involved at least until the current president finishes his term. Although, there is definitely a huge counter argument to all of this, and that is Elon Musk does need a good judge that is in favor of him as opposed to completely opposed to him to be in power for Elon to actually execute everything that he needs to execute with DOGE. So it's definitely not guaranteed that Elon Musk will just stay in the government or in politics for multiple years, but I would now think it's more likely he will stay in politics. I certainly expect whenever there's a relatively more important election, and if it's a bit too close to call, I would not be surprised at all to see Elon's face over and over and over and over and over again. For example, let's say congressman races, senator races, governor races, judge races, like in this case, this is a race for a judge. I would not be surprised to see Elon again. Doesn't mean that he will definitely appear every single time, but I don't think this will be the last time. However, I don't think any of this will really matter in the long term because Tesla, I believe, is going to solve full self-driving. So another argument actually for all of this is that Elon Musk wants a friendly government so that there can be no issues with the licensing of FSD and things like that. But then on the flip side, this just happened. New York lawmakers are targeting Tesla's ability to sell cars directly to consumers in the state, citing what they view as massive issues with Elon Musk. So keeping that in mind, can I imagine a future where some states that are very strongly left, they would not want any self-driving Teslas? Well, I would first want to see how this goes. I think the chances of that are not high, but is it a possibility? Sure. So the state senator has introduced legislation that would revoke the permits for Tesla's 5 existing direct sales locations by July 2026. If this does go through, I will think that there is definitely a higher chance that a state like New York or some other very liberal place would make it very difficult for Tesla to get permitting for full self-driving cars. But if they pass federal or national legislation, then states can't really do that much, can they? So in the end, actually, when Tesla solves full self-driving, even if there is extreme political division, I think the worst possible outcome from that really realistically is those who are extremely liberal, they just wouldn't want to get in a Tesla robotaxi. And I think that would be the minority of the people, because when you have a really good product, it sells itself. And even if somehow not even a single liberal would ever get into a Tesla robotaxi, the market would still be big enough for Tesla stock to go up multiple times. But practically speaking, I think the Tesla brand will not be politicized forever. At some point, people will move on, and at some point, the virtue signaling is going to stop. But I think we definitely should watch this bill, and if this bill passes, it would maintain a cap of 5 licenses in the state of New York for electric vehicle manufacturers statewide, but allow other companies like Rivian and Lucid to compete for those permits, effectively cutting Tesla out of the state. Anyway, this is my warning that expect Elon Musk to be politically involved for an extended period of time. I would certainly expect at least until the end of the current president's term, and possibly for years after that as well. And while that does bring a lot more possible turmoil in the short and even the medium term for Tesla stock, I think it creates a lot more buying opportunities, as inevitably something is going to happen that at some point is perhaps going to push Tesla stock stock up, but then down even more. And I will be here buying Tesla stock, taking advantage of these opportunities, because I believe that in the long term, the vision has not been affected and the opportunity is still there. It's just that I will definitely not be surprised if we see another Q&A session like what Elon did yesterday, or a political speech from Elon. I expect to see a whole bunch more of those, and I don't really expect them to end. That's my personal opinion. If it doesn't happen, great. But if it does, I'm definitely not surprised. I personally support Elon's DOGE movements. I have family in the US. I want the US to be strong, because if the US is strong, I believe the world does better overall, and it's a nicer place to live in if the US is a strong and powerful country that's run efficiently. And with DOGE, Elon can definitely make the government a lot more efficient and cut a lot of the waste. And look at what's happening over the weekend. Now, I think over time, all of these are going to go away. But for now, whoa, look at these posters. Burn a Tesla, save democracy. They are literally calling for violence here. Literally. Burning a vehicle is definitely an act of violence. You are destroying property. And James, I believe, is more of a liberal, but even he says Elon and Tesla have become a lightning rod for the anti-MAGA movement. This is wrong, and I strongly disagree, condemn, cause for vandalism and violence, but it is a reality in which we live in right now. This is outside of a Manhattan Tesla showroom in New York City. So the extreme left is anti-gun and pro-environment unless they are shooting up and burning Tesla dealerships. And look, the thing is, sometimes you see some crazy posters, but it's just one person that looks very distinct from everyone else. It looks like a crazy person. But here, you can't really make that argument, because you got how many people holding this? This is not just one person holding this. This is multiple people holding this poster. So for now, I think it wouldn't be unfair to describe the situation as further escalating, because I haven't seen posters like this before being held by multiple people, which I assume is endorsed by many people over there as well. Because when you have a poster this big, if you really disagree with it, if you are in a group, if a whole group disagrees with it, the group would say, this is too much, take it down. Let's say this whole protest was peaceful, but when you're advocating for violence, is this really considered a peaceful protest? And this is quite interesting, but it makes so much sense. This guy went to a Tesla store here in Vancouver City in British Columbia in Canada, and there's basically no one protesting, despite Vancouver being one of the most liberal cities on earth. And Elon has no power in Canada, so why bother protesting here? Oh, and check this out. In Seattle, they are, I guess, hosting dance lessons at Tesla centers. Also notice that Tesla security watching them overhead. And now let's talk about two big announcements made by Elon Musk, which I think are crucial for us Tesla stock investors, so pay attention. First of all, Elon Musk just re-emphasized that indeed Tesla is going to launch FSD unsupervised in Austin this June, so that's big and that's good. And then the next piece of news proves that Elon Musk actually really likes the current valuation of Tesla stock. And this is not just because you might be saying it, but it's because I'm looking at his actions, and his actions actually tell me that indeed Elon Musk believes that Tesla stock right now at the current valuation is incredibly valuable. This is because he did not sell more Tesla stock to do what he just did with XAI here. Elon simply could have just sold some Tesla stock and wiped off all the debt that X still had, but no, he instead chose to use XAI, which acquired X in an all-stock transaction. The combination values XAI at $80 billion and X at $33 billion because it had $12 billion of debt, so originally it was valued at 45, but there was still debt. And I think this move is largely to actually just get rid of this debt. How easy or hard is it to raise money for X? I would say it's not the easiest thing for Elon to do. How easy is it to raise money for XAI for Elon Musk? I would say it's so easy. XAI raised $6 billion in May of last year and then another $6 billion last December. It did buy quite a lot of chips, but it still must have some cash left. So if Elon Musk wants to pay out some of that debt, he probably can. The thing is, no one is better positioned than Elon Musk to create general AI because Elon has a large language model, which many other companies do have. Then secondly, he has access to X, which is a flow of real-time information, which is all about news. And really only Elon has access to that. Now, other companies can try to scrape X, but you actually can't really scrape it that well. Whenever I try to open many tabs from X, it just stops loading. The whole website stops. And then And number 3, and most importantly, Elon has access to Tesla, which is solving real-world AI with its FSD. And David Faber on CNBC today said, I had the opportunity to ride in a Tesla this weekend on FSD. It's worth doing. The steering wheel was not touched. The technology is real. People are driving 100 miles out of New York City and not touching the steering wheel once. People, we are now seeing the mainstream media saying and admit that Tesla's FSD is actually pretty good. We're not talking about some guy on YouTube. We're talking about the mainstream media actually finally admitting it. And Elon is absolutely right here that since XAI was founded 2 years ago, it has rapidly become one of the leading AI labs in the world, building models and data centers at unprecedented speed and scale. No one else is able to build these centers that fast. And you know who benefits from that? Tesla, because Tesla has also learned how to build these super fast. XAI and X's features are intertwined. I would say the same thing about Tesla. You can add Tesla in here too. Tesla is going to be a beast when it comes to producing robots, and XAI, I believe, is going to partner with Tesla. And I think Tesla owning a part of XAI, that's probably really just a matter of time. I see it as inevitable. And now, if Tesla invests into XAI, we also get X. So if Elon ever stops being involved in politics actively and then focus a bit more on X, no one can blame Elon after that for spending too much time at X or XAI, because Tesla would own a piece of it. There were proposals from Elon Musk, by the way, to make this investment. I just haven't heard any official developments yet, and we haven't even heard any rumors about this even. Now, I personally think that X is worth more than the $33 billion that XAI paid for it, but it's Elon Musk negotiating against Elon Musk, so, you know. But also, it's about what the market today is willing to pay for it. Look at this. I'm not the only one that is realizing what Elon Musk is up to. Stephen Mark Ryan is subtly implying here that indeed Tesla is probably going to own a piece of XAI. Or would XAI buy some Tesla stock? That would be wild, but I would definitely assume that would be Tesla buying XAI stock, not XAI buying Tesla stock. But even if you looked at XAI's website before, they themselves said that we are a separate company from X Corp, but will work closely with X and Tesla. Anyway, remember those people that just very recently said that X is only worth about $20-ish billion, and I laughed at them saying that that makes no sense. I would pay a lot more than that. I think you could look at this and say that, yep, it is indeed worth more than that. As Tesla stock investors, we'll definitely want to keep an eye on X and XAI, because it is going to be a big part of Tesla's future, I believe. Because Tesla is such a big company already, it can be a little bit difficult for Tesla to hire someone that wants to work at a startup and get options, because if you give options to someone at Tesla, they already see that the valuation of Tesla is so high and it is almost impossible to 100x that valuation. But if you go to a startup and you are a really smart individual, your direct contributions will directly reflect in the company's valuation. And maybe because of your contributions, if you are sort of a genius almost, because of your contributions, the stock will go up maybe 10 times, maybe 20 times, making you millions, tens of millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of dollars in the process. So if Tesla invests a lot of money into XAI and let's say owns a big portion of it, and XAI is there dedicated to build different, let's say, skill sets for the Tesla bots, overall, Tesla would have an easier time attracting new talent and broader talent to its ecosystem, maybe not directly to Tesla, but to XAI. And some people they only want to work at a startup, and XAI, for a while, I think will still be considered a startup. I would like XAI to go public as soon as possible so that we can buy that stock. Or if Tesla buys a large chunk, I will definitely be happy with that. And for that here, I definitely agree with him. Tesla AI will power Optimus Bot to interface with the physical world, manipulate objects, and do work, which is very hard to figure out, and Tesla will be able to figure this out better than anyone else because of Tesla's FSD software. And XAI could power Optimus' brain and the cars to know how to interact with a human at an emotional and intellectual level. I've been saying this for a long time now. Tesla needs a stake in XAI ASAP. The longer we wait, the higher the valuation of XAI will be and the more expensive it will be for Tesla. Oh, and this really caught my attention. You want to check this out. Elon made a prediction in his Master Plan Part 2, which was in 2016. He predicted that worldwide regulatory approval for autonomy would require something on the order of 6 billion miles. An account from Tesla just clarified that Tesla's vehicles have now driven more than 3.6 billion miles on FSD, and Tesla did 2.16 billion in 2024 alone, and the software getting much better. I am sure that people are driving more on FSD now than before, especially on V13. It's so much better compared to everything before. So I personally would definitely expect Tesla's vehicles to drive at least 3 more billion miles on FSD this year. And I know from my experience, I am more likely to turn FSD on. I am seeing friends around me that before swore that they will never use FSD. Now regularly they turn on FSD. They are loving it. Some people give Elon a really hard time, but look, he said it's going to take 6 billion miles and we're close to that, really close. And Elon just confirmed yesterday that indeed Tesla is going to launch a robotaxi service in June in Austin. And now there is a bigger investor who has been a Tesla stock bull starting way back in 2013. That's quite a few years earlier than me. I became a Tesla stock investor in early 2019, and she sees a tripling in 2 to 3 years. She's the CEO and CIO of Laffer Tangler Investments, and she has been buying Tesla stock throughout the so-called brand crisis, which in the long term will turn out to have been a crisis of people missing out on this buying opportunity. So a big shout out goes to her for being a Tesla stock bull since 2013. That's a long time. Oh, and look at this. Elon Musk is actually using these words. They are literally paid protesters. Now, I watched this video. I'm not really seeing anyone admit to themselves that they are paid protesters, unlike the video that I showed you from a little while ago. Now, if I go to the original source of this video, we will learn that these protesters left exactly when it was 12 p.m. It's almost like they were doing a job. Now, people leaving at the same time could be explained by many jurisdictions requiring to apply for permits to have a large demonstration, and they have to end at a precise time. Now, under this post that Elon Musk made, there are comments, and this one comes up pretty high, and it suggests that there have been people paid to protest and that they are being paid $40 an hour. These are Craigslist ads, and you can see compensation $40 an hour. Now, these are screenshots or these actual posts. It's a little bit hard to verify, but I have found other people posting about this, and I did find what appeared to be this exact post, which now has been deleted. However, if you pay closer attention to this, you will see that this is for March 10, 11, and 12. So I couldn't find more direct evidence of the protests from this last weekend that they were getting paid. However, we have all seen this one.
Yeah, I get paid to be out here.
You get paid to be out here?
Yeah.
Amazing. So some pack.
You really are getting paid for this?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Definitely. 100% I'm getting paid for this.
And here's some good news for Tesla. This is about China specifically, but a Bosch executive says that Tesla is one generation ahead of domestic solutions when it comes to deploying a full self-driving solution in China. He's comparing it with other systems in China. I was truly amazed. It says it left me with 3 key impressions: extreme confidence, extreme safety, and extreme comfort. These 3 differentiators are experiences that no domestic intelligent driving solution has been able to provide me. And it says that it is ahead of all domestic intelligent driving solutions by at least 1 to 2 years. Stifel just cut their Tesla stock price target from $474 to $555, but they maintain a buy rating. The adjustment reflects a tempered expectation for the company's near-term vehicle deliveries, particularly concerning the new Model Y named Juniper, and the impact of declining favorability among Democrats towards Tesla and its CEO Elon Musk. But they have confidence in Tesla's medium to long-term potential, which underpins their decision to reiterate the buy rating for the stock. And here, a Las Vegas judge declines to release a suspect in a Tesla domestic terrorism attack. And this is just wow. Wow, wow, wow. Pay attention. I'm stunned. So a federal magistrate judge declined Friday to immediately release the man accused of setting fires at a Tesla collision center, citing her concerns of returning him to the community without his mother's supervision. How old is this person? 12 years old? The article says he is 36 years old. I can sort of see now why Elon Musk said that he's upset at the legacy media and not so much at the person throwing the Molotov cocktail, because he called the person throwing the Molotov cocktail having some serious mental issues or something like that. Anyway, the judge thinks that he needs his mother's supervision. Oh, this is what civil disobedience looks like. These cars are peacefully and illegally blocking half of the chargers to get Tesla owners' attention. When asked to move, they did, but it did make a point, she says. I think a better point would have been made if Tesla was called and then they quickly came in to tow every one of these vehicles. I think that would have made a better point. It's very clear this is not someone parking by accident here. They're not even parking based on the lines. Clearly, this is very intentional, which is why I think they would be definitely deserving to get their vehicles towed. If someone somehow, because of their unawareness or lack of an intellect, parks in a Tesla charging spot and they just didn't know that you couldn't do that, okay, I'm not so sure that person should be towed. But these people definitely get them towed. Oh, Elon responded to the New York City protests against Tesla. These are puppets, but who are the puppet masters, he asks. Oh, wow, so these protesters in New York City laid down on the ground, blocking access to the store. So if you wanted to buy a Tesla that day, good luck. Probably no chance. And this protester is upset supposedly because Musk is cutting Social Security. Elon says, first of all, there are no cuts to Medicaid, Social Security, or other entitlements unless stopping fraud is considered a cut. Second, organizing a campaign to call for the death of someone is illegal. The organizers and funders will be found and prosecuted. Elon is making a big call here. It is time to arrest those funding the attacks. Arresting their puppets and paid foot soldiers won't stop the violence. Oh, this is quite interesting, isn't it? Wouldn't this be considered a hate crime? But this is only a protest. Elon's also saying, insanely ironic that the people shooting bullets into Tesla stores, burning down cars, are generally being violent, are calling me a Nazi when I have done literally zero violence at all. Okay, back to some Tesla news here, specifically about deliveries. We got the Tesla Q1 delivery consensus numbers, which is sitting at 377,000. Now, Omar thinks it's too high. It's probably going to be closer to 350,000. Whoa, look at how much data Tesla is getting. Omar says, my Tesla's uploaded 1.2 terabytes of footage to Tesla this month. That's a lot. Elon Musk company Neuralink aims to implant its new brain chip blindside into a human patient for the first time in late 2025. So this is a different chip. The device aims to restore sight to people who are completely blind. So it will be low resolution at first, but over time the impact will enable vision that is like superhuman. And Elon is definitely making a point here. I think about this often. He says, if the news is fake, imagine how bad history is. I believe the Tesla stock is going to $1,000 per share, and then after that, well above it. But there's an investment that I made that actually did better for me than Tesla stock. And my brothers, who are teenagers, they have been asking me, how am I doing these numbers? And I'm actually going to teach them. And I'm doing an event and I'm going to teach them, but everyone else is also welcome to come. During the event, I will teach everything I know about money and how to make money. And those of you who are going to come, I believe is going to be the best financial decision. There's a link down below if you'd like to come with all of the information about the event. My name is Matt Postius, and I will see you in the next video, probably on Wednesday.